Hey everyone, Brandon from Caesar's Freedomstead here. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button. We're going to grow this channel and we're going to bring you lots of great content in the future. But today, I'm talking to you about our Concord Grapes. So this is a first year Concord Grapes. We just planted this last year, spring last year. So it's a little bit over, just a tiny bit over a year. And we grew it on this metal trellis right here. And so it's nothing too expensive, nothing too fancy, but we really like the design. And in the future, I do plan on getting a big, nice wooden pergola and growing some on there. But we thought this would be a nice entryway here for our grapes. So as a first year grape, we were trying to grow it all throughout the top here and the sides of this trellis here. And as you can see, the one right here on my left, it's way over here on this side, and I want it to grow all the way down and just kind of overlap each other, because next year when I trim the back ends of this and the sides, these are going to overlap, and then grapes are going to be hanging down. So that's basically the target of doing it this way. So you can just have them hanging off of this, and you can easily clip them. And so right now they're growing off of here and they are hanging, but since it's such a new vine, I had them planted about 2 feet away from the actual trellis, so they're growing a bit low. But as you can see, great growth right here. What are you guys doing? You're eating them. Look amazing. So great grape juice. One of the things I want to do next year, when we get them hanging all over and we get plenty of them, is to make some grape juice, some Concord grape juice. Because one of the things that Concord grapes are good for is juice. They're great for eating as well, but they can be a little bit seedy unless you get certain varieties. These do have the seeds in them, but they'll still make grape juice. They taste really good. So these are maturing. You see about maybe a quarter of them are still green. We do have a lot of purple. We're going to leave most of them on there if the kids don't eat them all first. Because they just come out here and they'll even pick the green ones, and I don't want them to pick the green ones. But they're going really well right now. This is August, obviously, so most of these will pretty much be finished and done by September at all, in middle of September. Certain varieties, you let them go on to the first frost. But these are sweet. These are really well right now. So we grew it on this trellis, and these are just 2 plants. So I have one on the left, one on the right here. This one on the right here hasn't gotten as tall yet for a few reasons. This one I didn't trim the same way as I trimmed this one. I wanted to do a little bit of an experiment. I trimmed this a certain way and trimmed this a certain way. And the way that I trimmed this one, obviously it worked the way that I wanted it to. This one over here, I trimmed a different way. Now this one right here grew a bunch of its grapes down here on the bottom because of the way that I trimmed it. On this one, I trimmed a lot of the back end and the sides, just kind of make it narrow to just grow in one direction. Over here, I did a kind of a bushy thing earlier in the spring. I cut more of the lengthwise and on the sides. I'll show you what I did on another video. But it grew a little slower this way, but it became bushier, and hence it grew a bunch of grapes down here at the end. So they're still really good to pick. There's a lot more green on this side, but that's part of the do's and don'ts of growing the grapes. But I just wanted to see what it would do, how it would go. Because a lot of what we do here, as you see in our other videos, we do a lot of experiments. We cut things differently. We see how things can work. Maybe we could find out a different way of doing things. So I'm not going to cut it like this next year, obviously, because I want the grapes to grow on there and hang. So, but we did it right over here. We still have some growing down here on the bottom. We have a couple bunches down here, but see, these are part of the vines that you want to clip. In order for it to go that way, you want to get rid of these so it doesn't grow down here. So, but there's a few down there. It's not a big deal. Not as much as the other side, but this is what you want. You want to hanging. There's some right there, just hiding away back there. A nice bunch right there. There's some little bunches up here. So you need to just give it time to mature and grow. Like I said, this is just a little bit over a year. And what we like about this is it has its doors here. You know, you can close it and lock it here. Go back, go back, go back. So, if you needed to, you can lock it. You never really have to lock it, but it's pretty nice the way that it is right there. We always keep it open because it's just a nice little entryway here. An entryway into the homestead, into the Freedomstead. Okay, one other thing I wanted to talk to you about, and you'll probably see this on all your different plants, fruits and vegetables and such. You'll definitely see it on the grapes. We've seen it in the past when we grew grapes, is this. All this stuff going on here. So this was done by those Japanese beetles. They go around and eat up your leaves and everything like that, and they start to curl, and they look ugly when that happens. So they had a great time with our plant here. They ate quite a bit, but they stopped for the most part because we were catching them and killing them. And what we would do is we get a little bucket, fill it up with a little bit of water. You don't want to fill it up because they'll get out. You want to get it with a little bit less than half. And there isn't any on here now because we've been getting them all off. Every day we spend a little bit of time out here and getting them off. But if they're on the leaf, go ahead and bring it up. Just tap it in there. They'll go in the water and they'll be stuck in there and they'll die in there. If you have chickens or other animals, when we used to have a whole bunch of chickens, we'd go ahead and just give it to them all. If you have any now, you can just throw it to them, they'll eat it. Or you can just leave them in there and they'll die and you can get rid of them. But that's what we would do. You just knock them off in here and they're pretty much done. You do that every day for, you know, a couple of weeks, you'll see a huge decline in those Japanese beetles on any of your plants. So, but that's what I had to do here and stop them from doing a whole lot of damage, but they did have their damage here. But as you can see, you know, we're still getting beautiful grapes. The plant's still doing well overall. And next year when it's trimmed, you know, obviously we'll get a head start on the beetles and it'll be green everywhere. So watch out for that. If you have those beetles, go ahead and do that here. The only thing you really need to do other than trimming it is just make sure the vine gets on the trellis. If you plant it close enough, you don't have to worry about it. It'll reach its way up. I would recommend doing it about a foot away. Obviously, I did a little bit further than that. But if you put it about a foot away, these little reaching vines right here, see they got these little snatches here. You just want to make sure you put them on there once in a while. So you can just direct it in this direction. These right here, they're kind of sticking out right here. Just want to kind of stick them in there. Let them weave their way through there. These up here too, you want to do that. And that way, it knows where you want it to go. It's going to go ahead and climb its way down, and this one's going to go up. So just do that. That's kind of like your weekly maintenance type deal. Just make sure it's going on there because it will go in every direction, like up here. You need to go ahead and just make sure you put them in the right direction. The last thing I like about this kind of grape trellis, growing it on here, is the shade. So it's nice evening right now, but during the day when it's like 95 degrees, it's super hot, and you just want to be outside, a good place to be is sitting in the shade underneath your grapes and eating some grapes off of it if you want to and cool off. It's really nice. Thank you so much for watching my video on grapes, Concord Grapes. I'll see you in the next video.